Okay, the cosplay contest entries for that are closing very soon, at 3:30 to be precise. So if you haven't entered for the cosplay yet, please go to it's the help desk at the entrance and get yourself a competition, and you might end up here on stage for the final. Thank you.
to see you. They've come to see this Q&A. Were you expecting a result like this when you came here? Were you expecting such a large crowd?
いや、まあ、はっきり言ってこんなに一度にたくさんの人、たくさんのソニックファンを見るのはもうこのロンドンしかないから。
I wasn't expecting so many people to turn up actually. It's the first time I've had so many Sonic fans face to face in front of me. I think London's the only place where the Sonic fans are at.
Okay, so the first question, as it were, what was the biggest challenge in designing Metal Sonic? What influences did you have, and did the character go through many different designs?
2個目です。
メタルソニックのデザインをするときそんな迷いはなかったんですね。で、まずソニックのライバルっていうテーマを与えられたときにもうすぐに赤い睨むような目がもうイメージできてた。
なんかね、すごいこれのせいで聞こえない。すみません、もう一度言ってもらっていいですか。
そんなに迷うことはなくて、でソニックのライバルっていうテーマを与えられたときにもうすでに赤い鋭い目のイメージがもうできてた。
So there wasn't really like a huge challenge in designing Metal Sonic. What I was given was like a mission to create a worthy rival for Sonic. And I already had like a really good image in my mind of what I wanted to create, and even down to the details, like with that sharp eyes and the red in the eyes. So yeah, it wasn't really a big challenge for me to create it.
Okay. When he was designed, did you imagine that character becoming a large part of the franchise, or was he originally designed for one game only?
基本的にキャラクターをデザインするときはこれからの長い付き合いを考えて作ってます。
Basically, when I create any character, I always create them in mind to have longevity and have a long-standing relationship with that character.
Okay. Well, in Sonic Heroes, Metal Sonic had a completely different look. What was the design process that led to that change?
ソニックヒーローズ。
はい、に行っちゃいましたね。それでも続きやります。続きやっちゃいましょう。もしあれだったら説明します。
もうちょっとじゃあ2番目の質問についてもう一回もうちょっと。
Sorry, we want to explain a bit more about that previous question before we move on.
Okay,
so
yeah.
We'll just go back to the previous question.
Yeah, sorry. Basically, Metal Sonic in Sonic Heroes looked different to how he did.
No.
Oh, right.
We want to go back to the previous
the first
question
one.
before,
Okay,
before
yeah,
we
of
move
course.
on.
Yeah, go right ahead, please. Sorry, that was the question about did he envision Metal Sonic being a long-term character in the franchise?
メタルソニックはソニックと同等の能力、スピード、同じスピードで走ることができ移動することができる。でそれを実現するために、ソニックが走るのは走ることで世界最速なのはもうソニック。そのライバルとしては同じように走って同じスピードを出すんではなくて、彼の機械的な能力、ロケットエンジンを積んでいるので、その力で、同じスピードに到達することができるっていうふうにしようと。同じ走るっていう能力を使って彼に並ぶことはやめようと考えました。ちょっと難しい。
So we wanted to make sure that Metal Sonic was like a really worthy opponent for Sonic. So we wanted him to have like similar parameters to Sonic. So we wanted him to be as fast as Sonic. But Sonic is the fastest runner in the world. But we wanted our rival to match Sonic's speed, but there's no way that he could match Sonic's speed by running, because fundamentally Sonic is the fastest runner. So we created a rival in Metal Sonic by having him with like rocket engine he can match Sonic's speed, but it's not via running, but with a rocket engine.
Okay.
あの能力は同等、スピードは同じで、ソニックとメタルソニックの一番の違いっていうのは、ソニックは自分の意思で動く、悪いやつらを見たらやっつける、自分の意思でやっつけるっていうことに比べて、メタルソニックっていうのはあくまでもエッグマンの命令で動く、自分の意思で動くやつと命令されて動くやつっていう、その違いをちょっとコントラストとして出したかった。
So, although Metal Sonic and Sonic have same abilities, you know, they have the same speed, for example, but there is a key differentiator, and that is Sonic has his own conscience and he makes his own decisions, whereas Metal Sonic is commanded by Eggman in doing what he does. So that's like a key differentiator between the two characters. So we can move on to the next one.
Okay, so the next question was, in Sonic Heroes, Metal Sonic had a different look, and the character, I believe, was trying to find his own purpose. What was the design process that led to the change?
ソニックヒーローズのストーリーを思い出してもらうと、あのストーリーではメタルソニックは自分の意思で、それまでエッグマンに命令されたことを実行するだけだったんだけど、自分の意思でこの世の中を支配しようという思いを持つに至った。
So first of all, we need to remember and look back at the story of Sonic Heroes. So up until then, Metal Sonic didn't have his own conscience, and he was being commanded in doing what he did. Whereas in Sonic Heroes, he actually got his own conscience, and he had this desire to rule the world.
でその時のその気持ちを象徴したのがデザインで、支配者のような、支配者のコスチュームのようなデザインにして、その時のその彼の野望を表現しました。それは結局あくまでもストーリーだけの話で、最終的にはソニックに倒されることで元のロボットのメタルソニックには戻ってしまいます。
So we visualized Metal Sonic's desire to rule the world and redesigned him as a sort of world dominator. But then within the stories, Metal Sonic was defeated by Sonic, and he went back to his previous design because he lost that sort of aspect.
Okay. Was Amy always designed as a love interest for Sonic, or were there other ideas? Was she ever considered to be a sister or any other form of relation to Sonic?
エミーをデザインする、エミーっていうキャラクターが生まれるそもそものきっかけは、やっぱりソニックにもソニックシリーズにも女の子のキャラクターが欲しいよねというところからスタートしました。
So the starting point on designing Amy was the fact that we wanted a girl character in the Sonic universe.
それで我々ディベロップメントのチーム以外に、マーケティングとかいろいろな部署の人を集めてプロジェクトチームを作った。
And we put together a team to get this concept going, and it wasn't just within the dev team, but we also involved other departments like the marketing department, for example.
でそこでいろんな意見をアイデアを出して作ったんですけど、その時に工夫したのはソニックとの関係、ミッキーとミニーはお互いにラブな関係だけど、ソニックとエミは違うよね、ソニックはそういうやつじゃないよねっていう、そういう方向で えました。
So we brainstormed and we collated loads of ideas, and we also discussed what should the dynamic be, what should the relationship be between these characters. And with Mickey and Minnie, they obviously really do like each other, but with Sonic, we were like, he's not like Mickey, so it will be a different dynamic.
Okay. Amy saw. I'm sorry. Are you?
いや、
Yeah.
もうちょっとある。
Oh, a bit more?
Okay.
I don't know if he wants to do a bit more. That's fine.
で、ソニックは自分の目の前で起きる大事件に、次々とこう向かってしまうんだけど、エミーはソニックのことばっかり考えてる。こういう日本で生み出されたキャラクターなんで、ちょっと日本人の好みのテイストが入ってるのかもしれない。そういうところもしかしたら欧米の人にしてみたらなんかちょっと主張が弱かったりあまり自立してないんじゃないかとか思われることもあるかもしれないけど、そういうところは我々可愛いかなと思って、エミーを作りました。
So with Sonic, he is a guy that reacts to various events, like huge, bad events, and then Sonic will run off and he'll react, and he'll try and sort that situation out. Whereas with Amy, she's only got eyes for Sonic, and that sort of dynamic is, something that we created. We thought that would be quite cool, but it might be that that's quite Japanese in our approach on how we created that sort of dynamic, and maybe it would be viewed by a Western audience that Amy should be more independent, for example. But us Japanese, we perceive her character as actually really endearing and really cute.
Okay. Well, on the same line, Amy saw the biggest design change from her appearance in Sonic CD, Sonic the Fighters, and Sonic R to her appearance in Sonic Adventure. What was the reasons and inspiration behind that redesign?
ちょうどそれからベンチャーではドリームキャストっていうハードウェアのローンチタイトルとして出したんだけど、そのドリームキャストが高性能であるっていうことをやっぱりアピールしなきゃいけない。ソニックアドベンチャーっていうのはそういうフラッグシップタイトルみたいな役割を担ってました。まず。
So we have to answer this question, we have to look back at what was going on at the time. And with Sonic Adventure, this was released as a launch title for the Dreamcast hardware. And Sega and we wanted to really show off the ability of the hardware and show off how spec it is.
それで今までよりも高解像度の画面にも耐えられるような、細かいディテールを与えたりとかしたのは、そういう意味でやってる。それともう一つ、そこまで。
So, we wanted to include details specifically for that sort of, because at that time, with the Dreamcast, we were able to have much higher graphics than before. So we included details with that in mind.
例えばこの瞳も昔はただの黒い丸だったんだけど、ソニックアドベンチャーからはこのグリーンなんていうの、黒の中にグリーンの色が入ったりとか、そういうところからもそういう方向性が感じてもらえると思います。
So before, if going into the specifics here, but like the eyes for Amy previously was just a black dot, but with Adventure we really went down into the detail. So there's actually like a sort of green. She's got like a green sort of eye within that black pupil.
でそれ以外にもソニック CD でエイミーが出てきて、それから随分時間も経ってるので。 そのドリームキャストが出た頃の、その一番新しいファッショントレンドも参考にしてコスチュームを考えてます。
And we adapted her costume to be a best fit for what was thought to be really current at the time. And Amy's last appearance prior to Adventure was Sonic CD, so there had been quite a lot of time passed between her appearance then. So that's why her costume change was, seen to be quite a big change.
あとはもう、アドベンチャーっていうテーマからもっとこうアクティブにイメージを、出すために、例えばブーツはエナメルのブーツを履いてて、エナメルのブーツ汚れても、汚れないみたいな、ちょっとその活動的なイメージを出してます。
And in an adventure, we really wanted to have her as an active character. So she's got the enamel boots, but no matter what she does, her boots don't actually get dirty.
In Sonic CD, when you complete the game, there are several secret images. These include images such as Tails standing by a racing car and quite a scary humanoid muscular Sonic image. There are many others other than that. Did you have any input into those images, and what were they actually for? Especially the really freaky human Sonic with muscles.
Yeah, you guys have done well to find it.
あれはもう全ての開発が終わった後に、それまですごい激務が続いてた開発メンバーへのご褒美みたいな感じで、好きな絵を1枚描こうよ、でそれをこっそり入れとこうよっていう、そういう密かな楽しみです。
That was actually like a sort of internal present that we had within the team, and it was created after the game had been developed, and it was like many long hours to develop that game. So it was like a hidden present that we made for ourselves, and we just kind of said, each of you guys can create one picture each.
筋肉質あれはだからそのヒーローとか埋め込みヒーロー好きなやつがソニック
何ヒーローですか？埋め込みヒーロー。
So the muscular sort of humanoid Sonic, that was created by one of the guys in the dev team who really liked like American comics, like Marvel comics or something of that sort. So he was like kind of crossing, if Sonic was in a Marvel comic, for example, what would he look like? And that's what was outputted.
Excellent. Okay. Moving on a little bit in time, Sonic R on the Sega Saturn, there are a couple of characters that were in that game that aren't in any other games. They were Metal Sonic and the Tails doll. Were you involved in creating those characters, and would you have them return in the future?
Do you guys want to see Tails doll again?
I think you've got your answer.
当時のあれキャラクター、僕らキャラクターデザインを作ったんじゃなくて、その時の背景のアーティストがエッグマン基地の仕掛けとしてデザインしたの。エッグマンの基地のステージの仕掛けとしてギミックとしてあれをね、打つステージがあったんだけど、仕掛けとして作った。
So that was not actually created by the character designers, but it was created by the guys who does the background to the game, and it was actually meant to be like a gimmick within the Eggman stage.
Oh, I see.
And you were meant to shoot it.
でそれでそのテイルスドールデザインしたその背景のアーティストは今ロストワールド背景のリードデザイナー。
And actually, the artist who created the Tails doll piece, he's actually the lead artist, lead designer, lead background artist. He's actually the lead background artist on Lost World at the moment.
Excellent. Are you aware of the community joke revolving based on Tails doll?
コミュニティの間でテイルズドールに対してのなんかジョークがあるんですね。それのこと知ってます？ No.
Basically, the legend is that if you look into Tails doll's eyes, he can stare into your soul.
そういう伝説があるらしいです。
いつかまたちょっと出してみたい。
Yeah, maybe one day we'll see Tails doll back.
Way! Okay, when working on Sonic Adventure, there was a research trip to South America. Were you on that trip, and do you have any specific memories of it?
So actually that trip was funded by the chairman of Sega, and he tasked us to look at, real entertainment. And so we went to Paris, we went to the Broadway to look at musicals.
テーマとして使うにあたって本物をじゃあ
And as part of that research, we actually went to see the real thing by going to, South America and going to see the real sort of, 遺跡ってどういうんですか? The Inca sort of ruins.
Yeah.
So we went to Mexico, Peru, Guatemala, and we saw a lot of stuff.
Excellent. Oh, sorry, carry on.
Nazca じゃなくて、ナスカ。
ナスカ。
わかんないです。はい。
地面に大昔のそれをセスにすごい入れて乗り物に弱いものすごい
And when we actually went to Peru, we went to see this ruin where it's like a massive sort of picture on the floor, and it's called Nazca. And to go there, we had to get on a small Cessna plane. And Hoshino-san is not really good with vehicles, so he was scared for his life going to Peru.
それを飯坂が見て大笑いして
And so I basically closed my eyes, lied back, and wished for the best. And then when someone said you can see that picture from the sky, then I looked out the window to see the picture, and then quickly closed my eyes and lied back again. And Iizuka-san was laughing at me throughout that trip.
I'm going to do a little bit of service to a couple of guys in this room. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Yeah. Digi and Trippy. I've a question regarding Knights. It is said that the Sega Saturn was a difficult console to develop for. Did the difficulty of working on the console create any challenges or change your designs in games such as Knights?
プログラマーは結構大変だったけど、デザイナーは新しいことができるんで、そんなに困ってはなかった。
So the programmers, I think they were really facing some challenges. But as far as the designers were concerned, like myself, it wasn't actually like a challenge. It was more like I was able to do new things that I wasn't able to do before, so I was quite liberated.
で、逆にこの迷ったことがあって、ナイツをキャラクターを表現するのに、これからパーツごとに、これちょっと難しいかもしれないけど、パーツごとにいろいろな向きでプリレンダリングしたやつを並べて多関節キャラとしてる。
キャラ、こういっぱい
そうするとポリゴンじゃなくてスプライトでも動かせる。
言いにくい。
でそれにしようか、それともまだ誰もやったことが僕らのチームやったことがないポリゴンモデルで作ろうか、すごく長く。
Okay, that was really technical. So when we were well, for me, when I was designing the Knights character, I remember really struggling. Which route do we go down? We had two routes that we could have gone down on how to visualize her, and one is to do like a pre-rendering of each part of or each component of her body, and then actually have that as like so that her anatomy is that actually she has multiple sort of like multiple joints that make her up, so it gives more ability to express her animation, and to have each part actually be a sprite or to do something totally different that no one else had done before. The polygon model was the second option. Oh, and in the end we went for the polygon model.
まあそれは間違いじゃない、その判断は間違いじゃなくて、結局ポリゴンにしたおかげで滑らかな動きを表現できたりとか、その後のバーニングレンジャーっていうゲームを作ったんだけど、そのバーニングレンジャーの制作につながるような技術を得ることができた。
And that turned out to be the right decision for us. It allowed us to express her in a really smooth way. And also that sort of learning and experience that we gained from doing that, we actually used that same sort of learnings for a later game that we created called Burning Ranger as well.
Come on, everyone cheer for Burning Rangers. Everyone loves Burning Rangers. Okay, there was a manga book of Sonic made by a company called Shogaku Yonensei. It included characters called Amy and Charmy B. Were there any connections between the manga team and the production team?
Does everybody here know actually? Do you guys know about Shogaku Yonensei? Not many people know about it. So Shogaku Yonensei is actually targeted for children that are in the age range of primary school, and there's okay, so and in the Japanese sort of education system, in their primary school, there's actually 6 different years, and actually there's one sort of magazine targeted for each year group. So you'll have Shogaku Yonensei, actually, Yonensei means the fourth year within the primary school. So that's targeted to one specific year for, that generation. And we wanted to make Sonic appeal to the younger audience in Japan. And in Japan, there's this publication called Koro Koro Comic, which is like it's a comic book thing that's appealing to children in primary school. So we wanted to put Sonic in that one.
すごいマーケティング的なそういうアプローチなんで、主に戦略はそのマーケティングがやるんだけど、我々デブチームはそのデザインを主にリードしていく、そんな役割でした。
So that whole activity of getting Sonic into Koro Koro Comic was a really marketing-led activity. So the marketing guys really came up with a strategy for that initiative, but the design teams were involved as far as creation of the characters.
All right, excellent. With the number of iconic characters you've made since working with Sonic Team, not just on Sonic games, but on other games as well, would you ever consider releasing a hardback book with all of your artwork in it for public sale?
予定はないけど、もしできたらすごくいいね。感じ。
So at the moment, there are actually no plans of this to be created, but wouldn't it be great if it was?
Yeah. Who would buy a copy of that book? More of you would buy the book, surely. There we go, get two. Yes.
もしそれがパブリッシュされたら、さっきみたいなアートブック見るのが好きな母も喜ぶんじゃないかな。
And Hoshino-san's mother is actually a keen art sort of lover, and she reads lots of art books. So Hoshino-san would feel if there was such a book that she'd be really proud of him. So he'd be really, really happy if it happened.
Round of applause for that, I think. Okay, the last question. Pardon? Not the last question? Okay, well that'll be it then. Thank you very much, Hoshino-san. It's been a pleasure. Thank you as well. Let's hear it for Hoshino-san. Next Q&A on stage will be Adam giving a Q&A with Takashi Iizuka, so stick around for that one.
you doing? Enjoying the convention? Good. Excellent. Now, to interrupt your fandomness of the convention, to bring you a little trailer from OC Remix regarding upcoming Sonic CD remix album. Enjoy. Now, to interrupt your fandomness of the convention, to bring you a little trailer from OC Remix regarding Sonic CD remix album. Enjoy.
guys, all right? Nobody's passed out yet. I hope you're all enjoying the air conditioning this year. So thank Johnny Joelli for that. Anyway, guys, it is our utmost pleasure to once more welcome to the stage Summer of Sonic somebody you all know very, very well, and somebody we are very, very pleased to have back again. So if you'd all like to please give it up for Mr. Takashi Iizuka.
Hello.
So we have a selection of questions that were posed by you, the fans, via the Summer of Sonic website. So we've selected a range of questions that we believe cover some of the more popular ones and some of the ones that we think will be the most interesting to pose to Iizuka-san this afternoon. So Iizuka-san, welcome to Summer of Sonic once again.
Yes.
So our first question this afternoon is on Sonic Lost World. Which,
Have you played Lost World?
Great.
so everyone's very excited for Sonic Lost World. So how will Sonic Lost World look to take full advantage of the many capabilities of the Wii U and the Nintendo DS? And can you tell us anything more about what these features will be and how they will enhance the gameplay?
はい。そうですね。今回 Wii U と 3DS ということで、それぞれのハードの良さを今回のロストワールドの中にそれぞれ入れてます。
So we're developing Lost World for the Wii U and 3DS, and we are looking to make maximum use of its hardware features.
例えば、Wii U の場合ですと、Wii U といえばゲームパッドが一番特徴的なんですけども、そのゲームパッドを使って、カラーパワーですね。今回カラーパワーで、ゲームパッドをこう斜めにしながら傾けながら、空を飛んだり、ゲームタッチパッドを使って、レーザーを発射したりという形で、ゲームパッドのさまざまな機能を生かした、カラーパワーを入れてます。
And with the Wii U, its most unique feature is its gamepad, and we've made full use of the gamepad in that the color powers are activated with the gamepad. For example, with the gyro of the gamepad, you kind of move the gamepad itself to control Sonic's flight, and you can touch the gamepad and do swipes as well to activate the laser color power, for example.
あと、3DS もですね、3DS は、最高4人までの、インターネット対戦に、対応していますし、あと 3DS もジャイロ機能があるので、ジャイロ機能を使ったスペシャルステージなんていうのも用意してます。
And on the 3DS, one of the features we've got is you can have up to 4 players playing competitively over the internet, and there's also a special stage that makes use of the gyro sensor in the 3DS as well.
でさらにですね、Wii U と 3DS 両方持っていると、さらにいい機能が、ありますので、ご期待ください。
And there is another feature that I cannot go into detail today, but if you own both Lost World on Wii U and 3DS, there is something special there, so please look forward to it.
Thank you very much. So to follow on with that question, many Sonic fans have noticed that there's some similarities between the cancelled title Sonic Extreme, which was set for release on the Sega Saturn. Although this was confirmed recently by yourself that this game had no influence on the design of Sonic Lost World, what was the inspiration to the game's design?
そうですね、ソニックエクストリームに似てるっていうのをE3 の時にたくさんのメディアの方から言われたんですけども、もう私自身ソニックエクストリームって名前も覚えてなかったぐらいすごい古いタイトルだったので、全くそういうことはないんですけども、今回のシリンダーチューブ状の地形っていうのが、最も特徴的な、ロストワールドの特徴的な、ステージなんですけども、これは、フォワードビューの遊びを今までと違う、ジェネレーションズともカラーズとも違う新しいフォワードビューを作ろうということで、考え出されたのがチューブ状のステージになります。
So the similarity of Sonic Extreme to Sonic Lost World was mentioned several times by the press at E3, but to be honest, I didn't really even remember the name of Sonic Extreme. It was like when it was mentioned, it was like, oh, okay. But actually, like for example, the cylinder stage that you see in the hands-on demo that we've got here today, for example, that stage, like where that came from was from us trying to innovate, to do something completely new with Sonic, as far as with Sonic with the forward view gameplay. So it was a result of us innovating to do something new with the forward view gameplay.
Excellent, thank you. So hopefully that'll answer your question on the Sonic Extreme and Rap Battle. So many fans find that the early games from the 90s are some of the most endearing, as these games introduced many of the fans to the franchise. And a lot of fans want to know, Izuka-san, what is your favorite Sonic the Hedgehog game from the 1990s and why?
そうですね、私が制作に関わったのがソニック3が一番最初だったので、ここはソニック3と言いたいところなんですけども、ゲームの私個人的にやっぱり一番好きなのはやっぱソニック2ですね。これが一番もうソニック3でソニック2を越したかったんですけども、私自身はやっぱりソニック2がクラシックの中では一番いいかなと。
And the first game that I worked on was Sonic 3. So I want to be able to say Sonic 3 was my favorite. But for me, out of all the classic Sonic games, like Sonic 2 might be the one. Like I wanted Sonic 3 to go above and beyond Sonic 2 and exceed Sonic 2 in every way. But for me, maybe Sonic 2 is my favorite out of the classic Sonic games.
Are there any Sonic 2 fans out there this evening? Thank you. Great. Just one or two. Okay, so moving back to Sonic Lost World. We've seen previews of the new enemies in Sonic Lost World, the Deadly Six. So what considerations did the designers take into mind when designing these enemies, and how will they fit into the storyline of the game?
はい、デッドリー6ですけども、今回は、今までエネミーというとエッグマンが作ったロボットだったんですけども、そのロボットでも、ソニックみたいな動物たちでもない新しい第3の種族を、今回作って、それをエネミーとしようというのが今回の、デッドリー6の最初なんですけども、モチーフにしたのは、日本の鬼ですね。昔の鬼というのが日本では妖怪のような感じでいるんですけども、これをモチーフにしてこう角のある6人の個性的なデッドリー6っていうのをデザインしています。
So the Deadly Six, like up until now, all the enemies were either Eggman or the robots or the minions he created by turning the animals into them. But this time, the Deadly Six, we wanted to introduce a completely new type of enemy, and the Deadly Six were based on a being, like a type of being called Oni from Japanese folklore. It's like a type of devil type thing, and so they all have horns, and so that's where the inspiration comes from.
で、ストーリーですけども、このデッドリー6っていうのが、このロストヘックスっていう、全く未知の大陸にもともと住んでた、種族なんですけども、こいつらを、エッグマンが操って、エッグマンの部下として、最初デッドリー6が、活躍してるんですけども、そのデッドリー6たちが、エッグマンに、思うようにされてるのが嫌だという不満を抱いて、エッグマンすらも、叩きのめして、自分たちが、この世界を制するという形で、デッドリー6が立ち上がる。で、エッグマンとソニックが今度は協力しながらデッドリー6に立ち向かうというストーリーになってます。
So the Deadly Six are a race, and they live on an area called Lost Hex, and so they were always a race that lived there. And it starts off in the game, like the story is that they start off being controlled by Eggman, But then eventually they stand up against Eggman, and Eggman can't actually control them, and so because they're too powerful. And then so Eggman and Sonic need to team up to actually defeat the Deadly Six.
Well, we'll just have to see how that goes in the game when we eventually see it. First, thank you very much. So the Sonic universe is full, sort of keeping on the topic of characters, the Sonic universe is full of many wonderful characters that are featured in multiple titles. However, there are many such characters who have made a one-off appearance, such as Mighty the Armadillo and Fang the Sniper, one or two fans out there. So, has there ever been any discussion at Sonic Team as to whether or not, well, discussions in recent history as to whether or not to revive and bring back any of these characters to a Sonic title?
そうですね、今日もファングのコスプレをしている人がいたんですけども、そういうファングとか、マイティ・ザ・アルマジロとか、そういうクラシックのキャラクターですごいファンの方ぜひ復活してほしいという声もよく聞くんですけども、今のソニックキャラクターたちはソニックアドベンチャー以降全員リニューアルしてるんですね。それはカオティックスたちもそうなんですけども、なので、クラシックのキャラクターをそのまま、今またゲームに持ってくるっていうことは、考えてなくて、やるならばまたモダン風に、リニューアルするべきという形で考えています。ただ現段階でそれをする予定はまだ残念ながらないです。
Even today, actually, I saw someone dressed as those characters, and I often hear from the fans to revive some of these characters and bring them back into the game, and give them some center stage time. But at the moment, we're really working on reviving the IP and renewing Sonic as an IP. So if they were to be reintroduced, they would be renewed. They wouldn't be introduced back in the game as they were that you'd seen them before. So if they were to be, they'd be renewed. But at the moment, unfortunately, there isn't plans to bring these guys back specifically at the moment.
Excellent, thank you very much. So, many fans in the fan base appear to be very polarized on the issue of playable characters in the game, i.e. do you make a game where Sonic is the only playable character, like in Sonic Generations, or do you have multiple characters that are playable, like in Sonic Adventure? So, which is your preferred format for a Sonic game with regards to character and playability, and why is this reason?
そうですね、やはりソニックっていう、キャラクターはアクションゲームが、いいアクションゲームを作って初めて、ソニックっていうキャラクターが、みんなに、評価されていると思ってますので、まずはやっぱりソニックとして、面白いアクションゲームを作るということに、我々の開発チーム一同専念しています。でただ、やっぱりソニック以外のキャラクターを使った、ゲームっていうのも、もちろん、皆さんからもそういうのが欲しいという声もありますし、我々も、サブキャラクターを使ったアクションゲームっていうのもやはり、出したいとは、思っているので、いずれ、そういうタイトルも、作ってみたいとは思ってますけども、やはり今回のロストワールドも、ジェネレーションズとかもやっぱりまずはソニック、面白いソニックを作るというところにまず専念しています。
So for us, we really want to make Sonic a success with that fundamental. Sonic is a fun game to play. That we want to make a good action game. That's fun to play as Sonic, and that has to be really the foundation that we have to build upon. But then we do hear the fans' feedback saying, we want to bring these characters back, and we want to have more playable characters, and we do want to actually, do that. But we just wanted to build a base of a fundamentally fun action game with Sonic before we started to expand on doing the other stuff.
Excellent, thank you very much. So, continuing with the theme of characters, 2005 saw the release of a Sonic the Hedgehog spin-off title in Shadow the Hedgehog. I'm sure there's
Do you like Shadow the Hedgehog?
So many people, as you can see, enjoyed that title. So is a spin-off game or a spin-off title something that Sonic Team would consider again for another character, perhaps as Metal Sonic, perhaps?
メタソニックそうですねシャドウ・ザ・ヘッジホッグの場合も別に我々は最初にシャドウのゲームを作ろうと言って、ゲームの企画を考えたわけではなくてやっぱり最初は、どんなゲームを作るかというゲームの企画から考えるようにしていますでシャドウの場合は、まず最初に、ソニックのような、ハイスピードアクションの中に、ガンシューティングの要素を入れたいとそういう最初の企画があって、それだったらやっぱりソニックがガンを使うわけにはいかないので、シャドウを主人公にしようというふうに、後から、キャラクターを決めるようにしているので、今後もゲームを考える上でこれはソニックよりも、違う、テイルスだったりナックルズの方がこのゲームの内容に合ってるなと思った場合は、そういうサブキャラクターを主人公にするという、選択肢も、もちろんあると思います。
So when we made Shadow the Hedgehog, when we came up with the concept, we didn't come up with the concept, on the premise that it's Shadow the Hedgehog being the main character. What it started as was that we wanted to make a high-speed action sort of running game with some gun action. And with that concept, we didn't think Sonic would be the appropriate character, but we thought Shadow would be the appropriate character. So that's how Shadow the Hedgehog came to be. Now, in the future, if we come up with a concept where, we want to provide some sort of experience and it's not appropriate for Sonic, but it's more appropriate for another character within the Sonic universe, then there could be another spin-off title.
I'm sure many fans would look forward to that. So the Sonic the Hedgehog fan base is one that is very, very vocal and very passionate about their opinions of the games that Sonic Team produce. And many titles, such as Sonic the Hedgehog 4, Episode 1 and Episode 2, appear to have been influenced by fan opinion to some extent. So could you tell us some examples of the game features that were directly a result of listening to feedback from the fans?
そうですねソニック4の時は本当に皆さん特にクラシックのタイトルの、ナンバリングタイトルということで本当にエピソード1を出した時に多くの方から、フィードバックをもらいまして、よりクラシックスタイルに近づける形でエピソード2を出したわけですけども、本当にそういう皆さんからいただいた意見というのはなるべく反映させるようにしています。特に、今回、ロストワールドとかは、ソニックのゲームが速すぎてプレイできないとかソニックのキャラクターは好きなんだけどもアクションゲームが苦手で最近のソニックは遊んでないとそういった方の、声があって思い切ってですね今回ソニックロストワールドでは、最初のアナログスティックで走る速度を今までのソニックより遅くしてでさらに、R トリガーを押しながら操作することで、今までのソニックと同じスピードで走れるという形で、アクションゲームの苦手な人でも、プレイできるような、そういう操作性に今度は改良しています。
So Sonic 4, as the name, it's a numbering title, so it's like it's a sequel to those classic Sonic games, Sonic 1, 2, and 3. So it was always created with the premise that it was a classic Sonic game. So it had to be in line with the old Sonic fans, the classic Sonic fans. And we made it with the classic Sonic fans' opinion in mind as well. And, what is a classic Sonic? That's where it all came from. Now, with Lost World, what we've done is we've created a game to make sure that, there's loads of guys out there who say, look, I really like Sonic as a character, but it's too fast. Or, I want to play Sonic, I like the character, but I don't really play like high-speed action games. I'm not really used to that. So this time with Lost World, what we've done is we've created it so that even those guys could really enjoy playing, our Sonic game, as well as, the old Sonic fans. So, when you first push down on the directional stick, Sonic goes at a very slow pace, and then you can speed him up with the right trigger, or you can do a spin dash, with the left trigger. So you get that high-speed action, as well as being able to play at a slower pace as well.
Thank you very much. So many fans may have seen this video, but there is a fantastic featurette in which yourself and many of your colleagues from Sonic Team travel to locations such as South America to get inspiration. What was most memorable about these trips, and so how did they influence and shape the way you went around creating Sonic Adventure and, in fact, other Sonic games?
そうですね、あれは南米に旅行に行ったのはソニックアドベンチャーを作る前だったんですけども、ソニックアドベンチャーは昔の、遺跡だったかそういうジャングルだとかそういうところを、冒険の舞台として考えていましたので、あいにく日本にはそういう、ジャングルだったり、古代の遺跡とかがないので、ぜひ、そういうのを生で見て、ゲームの中に取り入れたいということで、確かですねインディ・ジョーンズを作るときにインディ・ジョーンズのスタッフたちが、取材に行った場所というのを調べて、メキシコだったり、ペルーだったり、そういうところを取材しています。
So I think when we traveled, to the South America, I think that was before we created Sonic Adventure. And in Sonic Adventure, it's like a lot of the adventure that takes place are in like jungles and ruins. And unfortunately, in Japan, we don't have these sort of locations to take inspiration from. So we wanted to go out there and see it ourselves, and be there and really get a feel of the place to really replicate that in the game. And some of the locations that we chose to go to were locations that the guys who made the Indiana Jones movie, where they went to, to do their locations, shoots and scouts. So we researched all of those places that we thought would be most appropriate, and that's why we went and how we went about our business.
でソニックアドベンチャープレイされた方は知ってると思うんですけども、実際その遺跡とかを見に行った、なんですかね、ティカルとか、キャラクターのティカルっていう名前はそのティカル遺跡の名前から、取っていたりとかですね、あとは、実際ジャングルと遺跡を見に行ったんですけども、その時にペルーで、全く予定外だったんですけども、ペルーに砂漠の山があって、砂でできた山があって、そこでスノーボードというか、砂漠の上でスノーボードをやってる人たちがいたんですね。でそれを見て、これすごいなと思って、実際アドベンチャーの中に、砂漠の中をスノーボードで走るシーンがあるんですけども、それはそのペルーで見た、その印象が印象的だったので、ゲームの中にも採用しました。
And if you guys have played Sonic Adventure, you'd know, there's like plenty of elements that we've actually taken from real locations and stuff. Like the character Tikal, the name comes from a place in Peru. It's like a ruin in Peru called Tikal. And once when we were on location, there was like this desert area where there was like a huge mountain, like made of sand basically, and there were people riding down the sort of dunes with a snowboard, which we didn't expect to see at all. We weren't going out there to see that, but that inspired us to build that into the game as well.
Excellent, thank you very much. So we'll move to some slightly different questions now. So 2013 is your third trip to Summer of Sonic. What do you like most about Summer of Sonic, and what is your favorite memory of the event?
そうですね、今年で3回目になるんですけども、やっぱりサマー・オブ・ソニックのいいところっていうのは、セガが運営しているイベントではなくて、やっぱりファンベースで作られているイベントっていうところがすごくいいなと思うところで、日本とかアメリカでもこういうファンベースのイベントはソニックファンたちのイベントはあるんですけども、やっぱりセガが運営しているので、時間が2時間だったり3時間だったり、すごく短い時間でのイベントなんですけども、もうサマー・オブ・ソニックは本当に朝から晩までこういう皆さんと共有できるイベントが持てるっていうのは、本当にサマー・オブ・ソニックならではで、好きなところです。
So yeah, this is the third time that I've been to the Summer of Sonic, and I think like one of the greatest things about the Summer of Sonic is the fact that it's run by the fans. It's for the fans by the fans, and we have other events that we do in Japan or in other places in Europe or America, in Japan, but they're all run by Sega, and because it's actually run by Sega, our time, my time at the event is usually really limited. It's maybe 2 or 3 hours, whereas at the Summer of Sonic, I get the chance to spend the whole day here. So it is, it's really great to have an event that's for the fans by the fans.
特にThank you, thank you. サイン会とかやって、本当に皆さんと直に握手したりサインしたりして、すごく皆さんに良かったよって励まされるのは、本当にまたサマー・オブ・ソニック来たいなと思いますね。
And having those signing desks where I get to meet all of you guys face to face and hear your feedback directly really spurs me on to carry on, and also it makes me want to come back to Summer of Sonic as well.
Thank you for those very kind words.
Thank you.
So, I imagine many fans here have been inspired a lot by Sonic and are very keen to become involved in the video games industry as a career. So, do you have any advice for all of those future leaders of future video game teams out there?
そうですね、なんですかね、とにかく今は、一昔前まではやっぱりビデオゲームの会社で働くっていうのはすごくハードルが高かったと思うんですね。やっぱりそんなにビデオゲームを作ってる会社ってそんなになかったんですけども、もう今の時代スマートフォンのゲームとかがあって、自分たちのアイディアをゲームとして世に送り出すっていう機会がすごく増えたと思うんですね。なので本当に皆さんのこういうアイディアとかを形にできる場が増えたので、もちろんそういうゲームをセガに入って一緒に作ってくれるのももちろん大歓迎なんですけども、皆さんの力で新しいゲームを作り出してこのゲーム業界全体をですね盛り上げていくっていう風に皆さんゲーム業界に活躍してくれると嬉しいですね。
So yeah, it's quite hard one to answer, but previously, the hurdle was really high to get into the games industry because there weren't many companies making games, and the route to market was really limited as well. But now there's loads of developers, there's loads of companies, there's loads of ways to get into the market. There's the mobile sort of apps, games is really blooming, and it'll be great to have the fans actually joining our team and working in Sega as well. But I think to really be successful, you need to strive to make really great games, and to keep pursuing to make great games.
Excellent, thank you very much. So, sort of a very, very open question and aspirations for the future of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Future Sonic. It's hard to say. そうです。やっぱり我々としては、ソニックロストワールド以降も、面白いソニックのアクションゲームを作るということに我々のチーム自体は、専念したいと思うんですけども、やっぱソニックっていうのは、いろんな人に、すごく応援されている、キャラクターですので、ゲームだけではなくて、テレビとかコミックスとか、ゆくゆくは映画とかですね、そういういろんなメディアに、ソニックが取り上げられるような、そういう大きなキャラクターになってもらえるように我々も、これから努力したいと思います。
So, like with the creation of Sonic Lost World, from a development team point of view, we'd like to continue making fun Sonic action games. But Sonic's like a huge character. He's a character that's loved by millions of people, and he has support from so many people. And it would be really great, like, to see him actually being on loads of different media, like whether that be in comic books, whether that be on TV or in films, for example. So it'll be great to see Sonic on multimedia platforms.
Sure, we all look forward to that.
Thank you.
So we have one final question for you this afternoon, Izuka-san. So we all know Takashi Iizuka, the head of the Sonic team. But what does the leader of the world's biggest video game franchise do in his spare time, if you have any spare time?
そうですね、今本当に時間がないんですけど
I really have no time at the moment.
もうここ数年は自分の趣味というよりはもう本当に土曜日日曜日空いた時間があれば子供たちと一緒に遊ぶようにしてまして、特に今うちの、息子も小学校4年生ですごくビデオゲームが好きな年頃なので、そういう自分の息子と一緒にこう同じ目線で遊ぶことが新しいゲームを作るきっかけになったりもするんで、今は本当に空いた時間があれば子供たちと一緒に遊ぶようにしています。
So yeah, like as I said earlier, I'm struggling to find the time at the moment to pursue my own hobbies. But in the recent years, I've been spending my weekends playing with my children and spending time with them. And my son, he's in the 4th year in Japanese primary school, so that's like 10. And he's really into games at the moment. So, for example, I'll play games with my son and find like what he's in, find out what he's into, and find out about games that I wouldn't have played otherwise. Or, I basically spend time with my children on the weekend when I can.
It's fantastic. So maybe we have the new leader of Sonic Team.
I hope so.
Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to join me in thanking Izuka-san for joining us today on stage.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So ladies and gentlemen, I see you all getting up to go away. Don't go away. We have a surprise for you on the screens very soon. Don't go away. And you just might want to stick around for a little while longer as well.
experience, so I can pass you over to Sonic Paradox to have a little video to introduce. So, yeah. Hello again, Summer of Sonic. Now then, two things. Why am I back up here, and what's the mystery showcase that's going to play? Now, do you remember earlier when we said we would only show Sonic Shorts for your mate when it was ready? Well, it's finally ready. Yes! Sonic Shorts for your mate is ready to play. I just want to know one thing before we play it. Do you want to see it? Over video, thank you.
Oh, hey look, it's Sonic!
Yo, Tails! Long time no see!
Hey Sonic, check this out!
Guess what, Sonic Heroes? I've developed the ultimate weapon! Think you can stop me?
What are we gonna do, Sonic?
Ha! Think I'd miss this? It's time to crack that Eggman wide open! Yeah! We're Sonic Bullet! Ah, launch base zone. Been a long time.
This time, Sonic will not get past! Me? Why am I here? That didn't happen 15 years ago. Come on. Just push it. Oh dear. Oh, jeez.
Come on! I can drive that thing better than you can!
Shut up! This is a lot harder than it looks! Owie.
Hey there, Knuckles! What's up?
What the heck? What did you put on my back? I hate you so much right now.
You think he'll remember that he can glide? Guess not.
Okay, he's behind me. Now I just gotta turn around and... Hey, wait a second.
Why can I only travel in one direction?
I found you, Faker! Faker? I think you're the fake hedgehog around here. You're comparing yourself to me? Ha! You're not even good enough to be.
I'll make you eat those words!
Hey, don't you want to hear the rest of my insult? Well, I think I showed that Faker his place. What the?
Sonic!
Oh crap!
saved me! Why are you looking at me like that?
Oh, it's you.
Amy, I need your help!
So you need my help, do you? After all our canceled dates due to storybook adventures, telling Vector what we were doing that night, and after the gay pranks with Tails, you need my help?
Yeah?
You know what? I've had enough of all this crap over the years! You're never going to change!
Ouch!
What the hell?
Hey Sega, why don't I have any fur like them? Come on, I'm a hedgehog too, ain't I? Can you do something?
But not like this! Damn!
You got a wolf pelt! Have you seen a blue hedgehog around here?
Nope.
Okay, thanks.
This new look is awesome! Thanks, Sega!
Oh no. And now, here's another pointless information moment, starring your host, Omochow.
Hi, I'm Omochow! Did you know you can go faster by increasing your speed? You can also decrease it by moving slower! Isn't that interesting?
Okay, whose idea was it to make this short? I mean, come on! This is stupid!
Killer whales are carnivores!
Killer whale? Where?
Tails is best known for stealing cookies from Amy's house! What?
Oh, would you look at the time? Gotta go! Give me back my cookies! Get back here!
Money is a great source of income! It's green!
This has been another pointless information moment with Omochow. Thank you and good night.
Whose idea was it to boat race in hot lava? Having fun, Shadow?
Wait a minute. Why am I silver?
I can't beat Metal Sonic without you guys.
We'll distract the monster while you use your ultimate powers.
All we need is the power of teamwork. Right, guys?
Hold it!
What?
I'm not even silver this time. I'm silver. Quiet, you. Yes, sir.
Look at your hair. It's just like mine. That makes you duper.
Don't even joke like that.
See there? You're super now.
It's that ego of his. He's doing it again!
Hey, Sonic. How are you liking the new wrist communicators Rotor and I made? Not a half bad job if I say so myself. With all the security features Rotor and I packed in there, stealth missions in Robotropolis will be a breeze from now on. We even added this one feature that can, What are you?
When a powerful new enemy arises, only one can stop them. It's Sonic the Hedgehog! Alright, let's go! Sonic? The back in. Sonic, wait, no, Sonic, come back!
Hey man, you know Sonic is headed the other way, right?
Will you shut up?
This frog is the one we want.
No, here's the real one.
My frog is the right one.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Note to self, replace that elevator. All right, let's see here. E105, what were you supposed to find?
A frog.
And what do you have?
A bowl of Honey Smacks cereal. It has a picture of a frog on it. Would you like some?
Nah, I'm good. Would you like some smacks?
Affirmative.
Lightspeed dash shoes? I wanted a frog, not a good fashion design. Throw them in the sewers. I doubt that will give us any repercussions. And what do you have?
I planted a bomb on Sonic. You just have to press this button to kill him.
I see. Tell me, is this a frog with a tail?
No.
Then what use is it? I'm surrounded by idiots. None of you even got a frog. Huh? Ah, there it is! Right there! I'm proud of you, Pig. But I don't need you all anymore, so prepare to be vaporized. Froggy? I love being evil. Why did I make this?
Very funny. Ha ha ha. I don't know how to thank you for all the laughs.
At our expense!
So now, we're going to have a little fun of our own.
Oh, wait! We can't end this without a super finale ending. So here you go.
There's so many of them. It's Sega. What did you expect?
Okay.
Bring it on!
Did anyone bring a weapon?
I have a pencil.
Okay, whose idea was this?